Hello there. So today we're going to be looking at D.H. Lawrence's poem Piano. This is a really beautiful and rather bittersweet look at the power of memory and the irresistible pull of the past. So first, let's set the scene with a little bit of context about the poet David Herbert Lawrence, who lived from 1885 to 1930. He was a fairly controversial writer, poet, and novelist of his time, and one of his novels, Lady Chatterley's Lover, was actually banned in the UK until 1960 as it was considered indecent. Lawrence grew up in a working class family in a mining community in Nottinghamshire, England. And what's important for this poem to know about his childhood is that his mother, Lydia, played the piano and had a major influence on his life. Piano itself was first published in 1913, so let's take a listen to it first and then start to analyse. Piano. Softly, in the dusk, a woman is singing to me, taking me back down the vista of years till I see a child sitting under the piano in the boom of the tingling strings and pressing the small poised feet of a mother who smiles as she sings. In spite of myself, the insidious mastery of song betrays me back till the heart of me weeps to belong to the old Sunday evenings at home with winter outside and hymns in the cosy parlour, the tinkling piano our guide. So now it is vain for the singer to burst into clamour with the great black piano appassionato. The glamour of childish days is upon me. My manhood is cast down in the flood of remembrance. I weep like a child for the past. So, what's happening here in this poem? Well, piano presents an adult speaker who, once he hears a woman singing and playing music in the present day, is suddenly transported back to his childhood. The poem depicts an internal struggle between his adult, rational self and the overwhelming, instinctive desire to return to a simpler, safer world from his youth. Now, in the opening quatrain, we start with a fairly gentle and soothing atmosphere. You can see the use of sibilants in the first line here, softly, dusk, singing. All this helps to create a calm, delicate tone, reflecting the fragile nature of the memory being evoked. We immediately see how important the power of music and also memory is. And at the moment, all seems well. The immediate trigger for this tone, this calm tone, is the music, which is personified as taking me back. The memories themselves are visualized using the metaphor in the phrase a vista of years, suggesting a pleasingly long view of the past. The use of enjambment in lines 2 to 3 also reflects the speed with which the memory appears and overwhelms him. The scene then shifts back into the memory, focusing on the intimate image of a child sitting under the piano, which suggests a profound, real sense of comfort and safety, somebody protected and sheltered by this massive instrument. Lawrence uses auditory imagery through onomatopoeia, which we can see in the boom of the tingling strings. This makes the musical experience quite tangible and vivid for us, the reader. And the final lines depict the mother's small, poised feet, which emphasize her composure, confidence, and affection. He certainly describes her in a positive, warm way. There's also a lot of reassuring sibilants here, which adds to this positive tone. And one thing I find interesting here is that he refers to his younger self as a child, not me or I, using the indefinite article or a and the third person voice. And this choice creates distance from himself, which could suggest he's merely watching the memory play out, or perhaps it acknowledges how different he feels now as a grown man, which ties in with something later. Similarly, he talks about a mother rather than my mother, which has a similar effect and also helps to make the poem more generic and relatable. Now, in the second stanza, he reveals the conflict, marking a shift towards a more somber kind of tone. The phrase, in spite of myself, acts as a voltar or turning point, signaling his reluctance to look back. He's actively trying to resist this nostalgic pull because the memory is too painful, even though his mother seems very kind and caring. The music is further personified as something almost malicious, the insidious mastery of song. Insidious suggests the power of the song is somehow cunning, slowly overpowering his conscious, rational mind. He feels the song betrays me back, indicating his trust is violated, as the memories kind of conspire against him and gang up. There's just no escape from this memory, even if looking back is painful to him. Now, the emotional response is particularly interesting as the speaker tells how the heart of me weeps to belong. This personification emphasizes his deep longing and sorrow. He desperately wants to become a part of that lost time, but knows that he can't. Lawrence uses powerful juxtaposition here to highlight the safety of the past. The outside world is characterized by the coldness and pressure of winter outside, while the family is shielded in the emotional warmth of this cozy parlor. And this is an extended metaphor about the threats from the outside world, beyond the security and familiarity of his family. The structure of this stanza is quite interesting and notable for its use of caesura. This technique of heavy punctuation forces the reader to pause, mimicking maybe the internal struggle and slowing down the pace as the speaker goes deeper into this kind of difficult memory. The piano itself playing hymns is referred to using the onomatopoeic tinkling and is personified as our guide, suggesting an uncomplicated, basic life where the family came together to sing hymns. The piano and the music it produces is the thing that helps create this unity. Now, the final stanza brings us back to the present and details this emotional climax. The phrase, so now, signals the speaker's return to the present. He dismisses the current performance as vain or pointless as the memories overpower him. The present music is now loud, characterized by clamor, and the passionate term black piano appassionato. Note all the plosive sounds there, along with all those B and P sounds. This contrasts sharply with the soft, soothing sound of the initial memory. He realizes that the enchanting appeal, the glamour of his childhood memories, has overwhelmed him. He says, my manhood is cast down, meaning his mature adult identity, connected with responsibility and suppressed emotions, has been stripped away. This loss of control is powerfully captured by a really good metaphor, the flood of remembrance, suggesting his memories are overwhelming and are drowning him in sorrow as he weeps. The poem concludes with a striking simile, I weep like a child for the past. This demonstrates his complete submission here to nostalgia. This deliberate comparison to a child weeping is also interesting, perhaps showing us how he felt the pressure to conform to masculine ideas or norms during that time, when men were expected to hide any vulnerability or weakness. By weeping like a child, he acknowledges his adult persona is really a false and a pretense. Now, let's take a look at the structure and form here. Piano is what we call a lyric poem, designed to express intense personal feelings and strong emotions of a single speaker. It's structured into 3 quatrains or 4-line stanzas, and each quatrain uses a regular AABB rhyming couplet scheme. This simple, consistent rhyme scheme helps kind of mimic the form of a song or a hymn, reinforcing the role of music here. Lawrence uses a trochaic meter, which is where we stress the first syllable of each line, followed by an unstressed syllable. So dudum, dudum, dudum. The rhythm is often associated with nursery rhymes, which makes sense as this subtly links the rhythmic pattern back to the poem's theme of childhood recollection. And despite the regularity of the rhyme, the flow is really enhanced by lots of enjambment, which mirrors the overwhelming, unstoppable force of the speaker's memories, which are completely flooded by these thoughts. And then finally, if we look at the various themes that are mentioned and touched on here, nostalgia and memory is where the poem looks at the irresistible nature of memory and the deep longing to return to a lost, innocent past. There's music and emotion as a theme. Music here is a catalyst and, as Lawrence says, a guide linking the present and the past. It's got a transformative power as well to stir up suppressed emotions, even when the speaker doesn't want them to be stirred up. In terms of childhood innocence and adult conflict, the poem really dramatizes the tension between the idyllic, warm world of childhood safety, if you remember that, cozy parlor and the mother's presence, and the harsh, difficult realities of adult life, symbolized by that winter outside. And then finally, the masculinity and vulnerability as a theme is where Lawrence highlights the struggle of the adult man to contain his emotions, culminating in this surrender of manhood as he weeps at the end. So in summary, Piano is a reflection on how all of our foundational childhood experiences, triggered by something as simple as a song, can redefine our present situation and reveal this enduring, vulnerable child that sits within all of us. Thanks very much for watching. If you'd like to see more analysis, please remember to subscribe.